Hello, citizens of YouTube land.
Hey.
It's your president and your VP back once again with the final installment of this season's I Hate This Movie.
Yep. We had to shorten it down because next Monday we're doing the first episode of Walker Texas Ranger Wary. So
Also known as Chuck Norris Month.
yeah.
And with a little bit of Jared Padalecki thrown in. Pilecki thrown in for good measure. So, with that out of the way, let's dive right on into this and tell you that today's episode is Passport to Paris. It stars the demon spawn themselves, the Olsen twins. It premiered November 11th, 1999. It was directed by
Sorry, guys.
He worked a little bit this morning. You have to excuse him.
Sorry about that yawn. I'm generally not this tired when we do videos, but don't know. I don't know what got over me. Anyways, it was directed by Alan Matter. See, again, there comes part of our improvisation because, by the way, we have no script.
No, we just ad wing these guys.
Yeah.
Ad lib them or whatever, just how we do it. If you've been following along by now, you know.
Yeah.
So, oh boy, this one, it really wasn't the worst thing we've ever seen.
Flaw has to be the worst. So far.
This one was pretty painful though, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Several times I was like, wait, what? How? Why is this happening?
Yeah, so anyways, let's get on with the plot, since we got all the facts and stuff out of the way. So the plot follows two 12-year-old girls who are turning 13 next month, and it follows Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen as these two girls named Allison and Melanie.
Mary Kate plays Melanie, and Ashley plays Allison. So at least it was a little easier to tell them apart this time around as far as who was who.
Yeah, instead of in switching goals.
Because they basically just went with like the first name of their first name this time around.
Yeah.
I guess a somewhat fun fact is this is actually the very first movie they really did in a long line of direct-to-DVD movies when they became preteens. They had, I think, one other that maybe we'll do in the future where they're much younger.
Yeah.
Where they're riding horses or something. I'm not sure. So anyways, they're two preteen girls and they're obsessed with boys. And the movie's pretty dated because they make references to call waiting and going to the mall. Because, like, who really does that these days?
Oh, yeah, and they made a Titanic reference.
And they have a few acronyms and blah, 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 and teen speak, or what they think is teen speak, which is probably not really what teen speak was at the time.
Dad, you should have known what teen speak was. You were a teen.
I had no interest in watching a Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen movie. I really didn't now, but we needed something to kind of pad this out.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they're obsessed with these two boys. I've already forgotten their names, so it's not important.
Yeah, same.
And they are asked to the spring fling, which I guess is like junior high prom or something, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know, and I don't care.
I don't know, and I don't care, yeah.
But
same.
Their parents are too concerned that their world is too small and they need to broaden their horizons.
And
so they surprise them with a trip to Paris, where they're going to be the guest of their grandpa, who happens to be the American ambassador to France.
In case if you're wondering who an ambassador is, I got the definition right here, so I'll read it out to you guys. An ambassador is a ranking government representative stationed in a foreign capital or country, The host country typically allows the ambassador to control a specific territory called an embassy, whose territory, staff, and vehicles are generally afforded diplomatic immunity in the host country.
Yeah, so essentially, they help negotiate treaties and basically show, like an American ambassador in France would show the French people what U.S. Customs are like, and in turn, he would learn facts and things about France and bring it back to the United States.
Yeah.
So that's basically his essential job.
Yeah, and then
And an embassy, of course, is actually American soil. I bet you didn't know that, but
no,
it is.
I didn't know that.
The American embassy in France is actually American soil. So that's why that kind of plays into it a little bit later. But so they get there and they go through the usual thing where they try escargot, which, if you guys don't know, it's snails. That's what it is. And they're disgusted by French food, and it leads to some bits that are supposed to be funny, but to be honest, I didn't laugh not once.
No, I don't think we even laughed once during this entire movie. Well, I laughed once, and it was during the outtakes, so...
Yeah, because... So, the assistant of the ambassador takes them sightseeing, basically, and they end up pretty much ditching him when they meet these two boys, because they're boy crazy, and these two French boys, are probably 15 or 16. Yeah. And keep in mind that these little girls are 12. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily wrong, per se, but it kind of is.
Kind of.
It was really painful to really watch. Sat there the whole time, like I said, thinking, what? Why is this happening? And so they meet a supermodel, and that kind of, I guess, ties into the Olsen twins' real life fashion empire that they developed.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but maybe it was the start of it.
I don't know. Like I said, they meet a supermodel at a cafe when I think it's Allison's French was like just super horrible.
She botched a bunch of stuff and ordered fish, and it was bad. The whole thing was just kind of stupid, really. And again, as usual, there's really no point in anybody watching these things, unless, of course, you are a fan of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, and then, of course, have at it. You've probably seen it already, so maybe you enjoy it.
Yeah, and again, it's like it's like every time they make it out to be that the ambassador is like the main villain that they're trying to overcome and stuff. That's
and
not
so
true.
They're like sneaking out and stuff, and they're meeting up with these boys. And oh, by the way, they set up the assistant with the supermodel because apparently she's actually into like Middle East foreign relations as a topic, which comes pretty much out of left field. And I guess it's to play against the stereotype of a supermodel being conceited and, being a bit of an airhead. So I guess there's that, and they try to do it that way. And anyways,
I'm so sorry, guys.
The two boys, they sneak out with the girls, and they get caught. And this is where I really had some problems, okay? Because these two girls, they didn't care one bit about how it would have reflected on their grandfather, how it would have reflected on the United States government getting arrested.
Yeah, by the way, we would like to remind you that the ambassador is an official government representative from the United States government. How do you think that would have felt to the United States government of the granddaughter of the ambassador getting arrested?
They would have had diplomatic immunity, but they didn't even really take into consideration what was going to happen to the boys, which apparently they got off scot-free, even though it said violators will be prosecuted. So, there was a complete lack right there. And, you know, I gotta say, I mean, it wasn't the worst thing ever, but it was bad.
Yeah. And then there was one line that kind of triggered me where the supermodel is like, what it's like to be young and in love in Paris. And then I'm like, they're freaking 12!
Well, I mean, at 12, 13 years old, you do often find your first crush. But it's usually somebody who's, you know, 12 or 13 years old that's going to kiss you back or whatever. But it is what it is, I guess, in this case.
But like I said, Dad, you know...
They tried to make them out to be the problem solvers, and they helped their grandpa after their grandpa decides that they didn't need to be punished so severely. And the assistant quit his job, and he had wrote this paper on the mercury content and the Francis water supply.
Which
and it leads to this banquet where they help the grandfather get France to sign the water treatment deal or whatever it was.
Clean Water Supply Treaty is what it was called.
Excuse me too.
We're both tired, as you can probably tell.
We both worked today. But anyways, I don't really have too much more to say about this. Oh, by the way, they do help their grandpa. They manage to go to the dance with the boys. They get a kiss at the end. And
then they come back
and they're studying social studies. And we're led to believe that they're going to go to maybe Rome and then to Africa. And as far as I can tell, none of that actually happened. So, thank God on that one. And at one point...
Passports to Rome, yeah. The sequel to the smash hit Passports to Paris. Now, obviously, I'm making a joke.
I would also say that it has an audience score of 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know how. Because it probably should have been like 25%. But it's not an absolute zero. It's not.
No.
So, with that being said, hey, as usual, if you think that Passport to Paris is one of the greatest films of all time, and the Olsen twins are a national treasure, and their acting is the best in the world, well, that's your opinion, and you're wrong. But that's your opinion, and hey, just remember, we're two idiots with a cell phone camera. Our opinions do not matter, except they actually do, because we have a YouTube show, except they actually don't. So, having gotten that out of the way, I give this one 1 1/8 of a star. What say you?
I give it 3/4 of a star for effort.
Wow. So, take the average and you end up with, I guess...
1 1/4 of a star, around there?
Around 1 star. Take the average. So, 1 out of 5, thereabouts. You know, of course, if you want to see it, we'll mention that you can find it on Hulu if you have a desire to see this movie. But I don't see why you would. So,
and possibly DVD.
With that one out of the way, and the wrap-up of I Hate This Movie, because I did kind of hate and dread watching this.
Yep.
That concludes I Hate This Movie for now. And
until
as we've said,
we bring it back.
It's going to be the start of Chuck Norris month, a.k.a. Walker, Texas Ranger Wary, with a little splice of Jared Padalecki, as we said at the beginning.
Yeah, so I know...
probably expect the Friday the 13th remake this month.
Gilmore Girls, because I know he was in that one, actually.
Ooh, I don't know if we're going to cover that whole show, though, son.
Yeah, just the seasons he was in.
Maybe a few episodes, so that we can kind of critique his acting a bit.
I'm sorry to say this, Dad, but you know the elephant in the room once we mentioned Jared Padalecki. Supernatural.
Uh, yeah. Maybe I'll watch. I haven't really watched Supernatural, so
I've watched 10 seasons.
Maybe I'll watch a few episodes so that I can kind of get a feel for it, and
I've watched 10 seasons of Supernatural, and it's actually really good. So
a few episodes here and there. I'm not sure, but the main focus is going to be on Chuck Norris and Walker, Texas Ranger, because that was Chuck Norris's biggest thing in the '90s, and of course, we're going to do some Chuck Norris movies, so get ready for that.
Expect Lone Wolf McQuade on Monday, January 4th.
Okay, so with that all out of the way, peace and love from Denny and Son.
Oh, wait, before I forget, join us on January 21st for our live review of Walker. Please join us. I cannot stress this enough. I said it like 5 times in the last videos that we did last week.
We'd really appreciate it.
We would really appreciate it, and I will keep drilling it, and I'll keep reminding you at the end of every video that we do until January 21st. So join us.
Yeah, we really hope that we can make this a success.
Yeah.
And even if just the few people that are subscribed to us join us, that'd be great. But hey, as always, if you're new and you want to become a subscriber, aka a citizen of YouTube land, all you have to do is hit the subscription button below. So with that out of the way, as a self-promotion one more time, everybody does it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next time. And the next video that's coming up is actually... Finally, for those of you who've been waiting,
Season 3 of Friday Night Lights.
Season 3 of Friday Night Lights review will be coming up either today or tomorrow, not sure.
Tomorrow.
But we're going to get that one out of the way in the lead up to, of course, the beginning of Chuck Norris Month, a.k.a. Walker, Texas Ranger. And we'll see you guys next time. So, bye.
Bye.